Welcome for the session of product life cycle management, 8th semester subject mechanical engineering. Today in this particular session, we are going to discuss about the product design. We have various chapters including this product design. We just have familiarized with this course objective and outcomes and scheme and all. This particular product design chapter, which consisting of several concepts, including this engineering design, organization, and decomposition in the product design process, and methodological evolution in a product design, concurrent engineering, and design for X and design of central development model, as well as strategy for a recovery at the end of the life, and recycling human factor in a product design, as well as the modeling and simulation in a product. This overall design process, what will be it consisting of, and several things we need to understand. Whatever the things which is including this chapter must be overall design process and optimization of this overall designs, as well as that how it is enacted with this particular systems, means with how it is originated and how it is produced and how it is delivered to the customers. Means there is a cycle, means it created with designer thought, and then it end up with the customer reaching point. Likewise, several things we need to understand. While these concepts are very interesting to study, and having too much of enthusiasm to study this subject, in this subject particularly, we need to understand this particular things. During this chapter, we need to understand first concept is introduction to product design. So, um, in several concepts, uh, means every product that is manufactured is supposed to have a distinguishing physical characteristics which make it attractive and productive to produce the usefulness and values of customer. The characteristics are known as the design. The process employed in this regarding is known as product design. So, in this sentences, we need to understand the things, that is, a product is manufactured for a particular reason to fulfill the customer requirement, and that should be having some physical characteristics for that particular product. For example, it may be a toothpaste, means the toothpaste body must that having some the container thing. So that container thing should have some dimensions, and that have a threaded mouth part and nut like substances. So it has some physical characteristics, so it has some dimension, and it has some um, different things to attract the customer. So it has some usefulness, means the overall characteristics of that particular toothpaste product should be having, it contain the paste of toothpaste must within that tube. So how it originated as a concept, and how it was produced through the thoughts, means we need to create some container for toothpaste, so that is produced through some extrusion process, and paste is created using different process, and that should be assembled, and then product is produced. So this is what the involvement in the product design is shows. As that product design refers to this activity involved in the creating, styling, look and feel of the product, deciding on the products, mechanical architects selecting the material and process, and engineering various components necessary to create and make the product work must be useful. So we have these characteristics to understand the various things. so that we need to understand this product design. And product design clearly defines the problem, what is the problem, and develop a proper solution for that particular problem, and validate this solution with real users. So anyhow, we have some problem, so we need to prepare for that problem for solutions. And validation is very important too, for as the perspective of this customer in usages. So, and then product design engineer works on the concept and ideas, eventually turning them into tangible, that is, it is touchable to this customer. That is what the tangible means. The product and inventions are very important. And coming to this product design is across the functional knowledge intensive work and increasingly complex work. However, in today's technology driven era, the process is supported by the evolving the digital tools and techniques that reduce the involvement of a large team and help the visualize a product in a great deal before it created. However, the success of this product still depending upon the proper design only. It has some very important role to play as for product design is concerned. Coming to that product design, there are certain objectives or a particular requirement of to be satisfied for a good product design. The same thing has to be listed, means we need to understand what is the objective or a requirement of a good product design. Okay, one by one we are going to study these objectives. That is, should satisfy the guidelines set by government and other regulatory bodies. Means whatever the product is designed, that should be having a constraint with this particular government norms. Means for example, we are producing some robots, means we are producing some robots, means that robot should not harm the any particular properties or a man. It should not harm to the other human beings. Likewise, that are all the constraint which is provided by the government. Why? Because this constraint is very important, so that it won't harms the others life. Likewise, it is very important to satisfy the guidelines of this government and the regulatory bodies. That's an example. And a tangible product is a physical object that can be perceived by the touch, and such a building, vehicles, gadget. So another the other end, and intangible products like product that can only perceived by indirectly, like service experiences and belief, and insurance company policies, and GPG and MP3 files and mobile apps, etc. These are all the intangible products. We can have two kind of product, that is, one is physical object, another one is just like a service. It's an example of service sector and particular product design sector. And coming to that, must be due to the importance for the product recycling, especially avoiding the exotic materials that are difficult to recycle, and also designing with part that can be refurbished and reused. It is very important objective of this product design. And satisfying the customer needs and expectation, and maximize the value for the customer at minimum cost. As well as, this product must be designed to be functional, attractive, have acceptable dimensions, and easy to maintain. Likewise, very important things regarding this designs is, it should be attractive, it should be functional, as well as acceptable dimensions, and it is very easy to maintain. Likewise, we need to understand the product design should be enabled to cost effective production, or production through available production methods and materials. means the product should design should be cost effective production, and this materials also should be satisfactorily, it should be an cost effective only, and should satisfy the quality standards of the end product, and must enhance the revenue and competitiveness of this organization in a market. It's also very important, means that should be fulfill the quality standard, and as well as it should create some much more revenues and competitiveness with other organization in a market. And coming to this benefits of good product design, as this concept is concerned, um, means we need to have attract more customer here by giving an organization a credit well go above their competitions, and then make a business grow by enhancing the profitability and turnover, because it transforms the needs of customer into the desired shape and value of the product demands, become important in replacing the obsolete design, ensure reliability with proven performance of this product over the period of its lifespan. These are all the advantages should we need to understand, and make a customer comfortable and easy to use. Good design satisfy the customer, this is well known truth. Very good design will be the satisfaction for the customer, and communicate this purpose of the product to its market. It's also important point. And assured quality product with guaranteed customer satisfaction, means whenever we are assuring this quality of the product with the guarantee card and some things, it will satisfy the customer satisfaction. However, will providing some excessive warranty card, and that will be for 6 months or 1 month, 1 year, that will be give the product will be a very good and interesting to have that product to be is very important. And one more point, lead to standardization of this process and product and its component, leading to the interchangeability and better services. And then we should avoid the product redesign, there is thereby reducing the time and cost as well as labor involved in the redesigning processes. So uh, so these are all very important advantage of this product design, means coming to this engineering design is the discipline which makes a alerts idea as well as the concept into the product that fulfills the all requirement of a customer. Engineer involving in a engineering design combines science, technology, and creativity to develop the product. The various steps involved in the engineering designs are verified as follows. Means engineering design is a discipline which makes and alerts the idea as well as the concept into the product that fulfills the requirement of a customer. This is very important. The engineers involving in engineering design combine the science, technology, and creativity to develop the product. The various steps involved in a engineering designs are verified as follows, means this including several steps, that is identify the design needs and conducting research, selection, select a solution, brainstorm and plan, building prototype, as well as test, evaluate, and redesign to improve. That is all very important design engineering design concepts. So as to understand this particular things, what will be the substandards will explain that identify the design needs. The process in the first step usually contain a list of product function and customer requirement and expectation about the product features. That is the identify this design needs is very important. And conducting a research in order to find an engineering design solution, there is a problem, so that people from a desired background and expertise to assist the design engineer or researching and assess that existing product or solution and identify the acceptable technology catering to the product for present needs. That's our second one, that is conducting research. The conducting research is very important, means that is people research is very important for to understand the what are all the requirement that which is to be accepted from the customer. We need to understand the customer needs, and then we need to understand what is they are expecting from the uh, as a design of any service of any product or any particulars, and then select a solution, all of the possible solution chosen as that solution that best meet to requirement of the particular product. When customers are very easier to understand that particular solution, then only it reaches, and it is easier for modeling a prototype or a CAD model for in a software. Means whenever we going to produce a product, before we are trialing some methods just like modeling, 3D modeling, and we are having some techniques just like computational fluid dynamics. We're having some different softwares to simulate that particular situation, and obviously we're having the solution before we are creating some product. As coming to this brainstorm and plan, that is also very important one. Since this design engineering is a mix of science and creativity, there can be more than one solution to create the product. So brainstorming is possible solutions with a team of experts play a virtual role in the design process. Imagining the best possible solution and selecting the most promising one helps deliver the expected outcomes. So plain as well as according to this gather of all virtual inputs steps up the next course of an action. This is also very important point. Build a prototype is also a very important concept. Creating a physical or virtual model in a using software or some prototype. If prototype is means uh, whenever we creating with one turbine, we need to create some small sized turbine which is almost dimensional similitudes, so that it will perform the same function of that big turbine. If you find the efficiency of this small turbine, that will be estimated solution of that particular big turbine. So eventually we are building this prototype is also very important. It may be a physical one or it may be a virtual one. That is also important, so that validate this product of function is very important. That will be fit and form the ergonomics, and this is the further it is helps to enhance the product design performances, and it evidence that CAD softwares have made the product of prototype much easier. So, and test and evaluate, this is also very important point. Testing and evaluating the prototype on this given set criteria is an key steps in an engineering design process. Identify these flaws that the stage helps that rectify them and eliminate the quality comparison element from the design. Redesign to improve the last point is redesign to improve. Redesign involves the repeating the above steps to execute the deliverable outcomes in order to match the expectation in terms of design and quality while adhere to other product goals. The end results is satisfactory engineering solutions. These are all very important concept of engineering designs. Coming to product design process, it's a very important concept in this in particular module. Design process is a series of steps that which different companies focus on the different steps. While it is impossible to provide a universal design process that fit all the product, that will not fit all the products, it will still possible to describe a general flow of designing a new product. So that will include several steps that we need to understand. Whenever the product design as a concept, we need to understand this particular subtopics, that is concept generation as well as screening, as feasibility studies, and primarily prim- preliminary design, and design evolution and important improvement, and building prototype, and executing final designs. um, Coming to concept generation, the concept behind the product design is developed based on the ideas and requirement of the product, concluding from the customer and potential market. Means whenever the concept is generated, means we need to go for survey, means product survey of from the customer viewpoint, and then that customer demand and customer ideas, and what are all the requirement of that particular product, that will be concluded from the customer point of view and the potential of that particular market of a particular product. Different concept related to the product shape, size, and functional requirement and the other characteristics are developed. The idea required to develop the concept is usually tied with the research and development team, that is R&D team, and lies out of scope of a product designer. And one more thing, a prototype is a physical model of an idea that enables to experiment and test it before building the full product or solutions. As a product concept is an approximate description of this approximate description of any technology and working principle, and forms the particular product. In concise, the description of how the product will satisfy the customer needs. It is usually expressed in form of a sketch and 3D models accomplished with some necessary details that has been understand with this virtual model and some prototype also. This is what the concept generation is very important, while this thing has to be accepted as that particular product design is concerned, design process is concerned. As coming to screening, once we suitable number of the concept which is have been generated, it is necessary to choose that design must be suitable for our fulfillment of particular product requirement to be set out, and the product design specification should be used as this basis of this any decision being made. Choose the concept will be developed in a details. So it is very important, this concept of screening is very important as this concept is concerned, and that concept is has been getting out, and then particular that will fulfill the product requirements that is setting out, that will be screened for particular any product. So we need to understand that how the chosen concept will develop the details. And then feasibility studies is also important point as this product design is concerned. Conducting a feasibility study of concept which is helps to have the closer look of all details of the product design, that in turns helps to for transform the product concept into product layout that defines the various subsystems or functional components are required. Feasibility is, however, it is fitment, means if it is possible or not, that kind of study is known as an feasibility studies. Coming to preliminary design, the product layout developed in the previous stage is transformed into the detailed design with all dimension and specification necessary to make the design product is very specified. And the details drawing of the design, information related to the selection of material, size and shape, definition of any geometry which is involved for creating that particular product, that's all including the preliminary design. And details regarding assembly of any component which is produced in design stage, and other sequence of activities will be developed. Means whenever the while producing any product, there is very initial step to design is sketching and creating some drawings and models, That is very important. While that is stage known as preliminary design. And coming to design and evaluation and improvement, the purpose of this stage is to examine the preliminary design to determine any requirement for a further improvement. There is a need to verify all um, detail the degree to which produces the design much the design specification. So there is techniques which can be useful in a design evaluation and improvement. That is all for quality function deployment, QFD. That is also a very important matrix. Value engineering and Taguchi methods. These are all the software based solutions where the evaluation is done. Means whenever coming to this Taguchi method, Taguchi is a very popular method to having any optimization techniques, and that are all very famous. That is Taguchi table is very important table where the optimization which is done through this kind of virtual methods only. That is optimization techniques which is very famous for Taguchi table only. Likewise, the value engineering and quality function deployment, these are all very important while evaluating and implementing it, which is involved to design as a concern. And coming to building a prototype is very important. Prototype is a physical or a virtual of a improved design is created for testing and refining the functionality of the design. Identify any flaws that the stage which is helps to rectify them to eliminate that quality compromising element from the design is concerned. While prototype maybe is a physical or a virtual body is created to using softwares and all. Physical body is actual product. So it's not created in a big means if you having 1 meter cube of volume for any particular compressor design, we are creating prototype for very small. If you 1000 meter cube of air is handled for a particular product, so we are creating some 10 meter cube of water. So that is what the example of prototype, and that is created that will be examined, so that execution is very important also. Whenever the executing final design, when satisfied the testing performance of this particular prototype, the final design is and rolled out by displaying the customer for them their opinion and the suggestions also. Final design consisting of all detailed drawings and specification for a new product uh, to be created. The accompanying accompanying the process, the plan included the workable instructions for manufacturing, including necessary equipment and tooling. The component resources also very important, and job description, work instruction, program for a computer controlled machine, assembly sequences. These are all very important sequences where this final design executing stage is also very important for our particular design is concerned. So coming to this particular things, we need to understand organization and decomposition in a product design. Product design is a complex process involving various activity with series of steps and people involved in it. This is what the important thing. A product design is a very complex, means which is involved in a research and development team, design engineer team, and product makers, and examining team, research orientation conducted team, means which is executed overall this process, and these are all involved very in active way. So such a series step which is involved for the people to organize it. And then this arises a need to structure or organize the various activity in order to streamline the process and also break and decompose the complex activity in a such a executable subtasks that can be handled more easily. This is what the very important concepts. And the present section deal with the organization and decomposition in a product design process. So this is what the organizing a product design. Product design begins with defining the functional requirement that satisfy a given set of needs. So and then they end up with the creation of physical objects satisfying this requirement. It is also very important. The process involved in a various activity and the interact and iteration of the activities to satisfy the needs and expectations of this described product is very important. And in view of the complexity in the design process, there is a need for structuring and organizing the activities or orienting the decision making during this design process. While this overall organizing process is very important, while decision making also important, while this complexities of design is explained in such a manner that activity and orientation which is also very important. And coming to the sequence of activities conceived in such a way that the product design proceeds from the abstract to the in a concrete way. In this way, it is possible to initially operate in a solution space as vast as possible and subsequently make this process in a substream line and converges towards the concrete and as well as achievable solutions. Means overall, this is what the organizing the product design is very important as concerned with this decomposition and organizing these components. And various activities of product designs are grouped and they are organized accordingly into the six stage as illustrated in a figure. You just see this is what the figure which is consisting of, which is whenever the idea is generated and requirement which is includes as this concept. Before this concept generation, some ideas of a people and customer has been requirement that has been initiated as this survey, and then from the people survey and the customer needs we going to generate this concept of generation. Concept generation is very important as this number of concepts also generated as of this. What is the effective way to expect the outcomes, that is concept screening. After screening the concept, will from all concepts we are selecting some effective concepts. So we having some effective concept after screening any particular concept of generation. And then coming to feasibility study, as this concept and the effective concept, that is it is possible or not, that will be the outcome of this feasibility studies. After this, product layout with this subsystem and the functional component, that has been outcome. And then primary preliminary design as processing started. Means from after feasibility study we are initiating this preliminary design is where to create some drawings and all. That is detailing of a design is very important outcome. And then we generated after the preliminary design evaluation and improvement. This is also a very important step. After detailing of any particular design is this is generated, and then building of prototype is a final stage. And then this is what the final design is concerned with. The improvement is connection with this design and evaluation and improvement with the prototype, building of a prototype may be a physical or a virtual one. After that the product final design is completed. Through this various several steps, final design is updated, and then this final design has been acceptable for all customer needs. As coming to this decomposition in the product design, in the design of complex product, it is become necessary to divide or break the design problem into smaller sub problems which can be handled more easily and later combined to integrate all the design to arrive that particular final solutions. Means in this complex product design we are segregating some substandard, and then we iterating some that it process, so that separately conduct the tests and substandard problems, and finally combined, and then we going to get the final solution. And then for example, as shown in the figure, that design product like cycle, just go and see this particular bicycle problem. You see, bicycle is having sub assemblies of frame, seat, wheel, brake, wheel consisting of spokes, rims, tires. Likewise, this assembling is very important. And such as this simpler sub problems is called decomposition in a product design. And then development team are assigned to each design problem, which may be represent the component or subsystem of the larger system. Each sub problem can be further divided into even simpler subtasks, and division process can be repeated until the team member agrees that each subtask in a simple enough to work with it. And once the decomposition is complete, the team choose that sub problem that is critical or non-critical, and each such as studies individually design task can be effective as approach to the analysis of alternative design strategies, ultimately leading an improvement of overall design process, and in turns the success of any particular product creation is very important. As this b- decomposition of bicycle in a physical domain, it's also very important. You just see which is always having some concepts. Here you can see this how the complex design has been splitted into different components, and that is decomposition. And then afterwards, this is what the integration means. Before the design and after the design means these components are very important while assembling this overall products, and then we'll getting bicycle. Just like that only, we are having some different kinds of a problem.